It is not a lack of love, but a lack of friendship that makes unhappy marriages. Friedrich Nietzsche. Have you ever wondered why love feels like a maze of half-truths? Everyone either glorifies women as perfect angels or tears them down with resentment. But where's the real talk? The kind that cuts through the noise and gets to the core of what's happening between men and women? Over a century ago, Friedrich Nietzsche, a philosopher who never shied away from hard truths, saw something most people still ignore. He didn't sugarcoat love or worship women blindly. He looked at relationships for what they are, a dance of instincts, desires, and unspoken power. Nietzsche wasn't out to vilify anyone. He just refused to buy into the fairy tales. While others in his era either ignored women or put them on a pedestal, he asked a question that still stings. What's really driving your feelings? Not the polished version you tell yourself, but the raw, messy truth beneath the surface. He believed that love, as most people know it, isn't about equality or pure devotion. It's about survival, attraction, and the constant push and pull of human nature. Look around today, and you'll see his ideas everywhere. Social media, dating apps, even your own relationships, they're filled with expectations that don't quite match reality. This isn't about pointing fingers at men or women. It's about seeing the forces at play in every glance, every word, every choice you make in love. Nietzsche didn't hand out comforting answers. He gave you something sharper, a chance to face reality without the blinders. If you're ready to question the stories you've been fed about love, to see past the romantic haze and confront what's really going on, stick with me. Because once you grasp Nietzsche's take on relationships, you'll never view attraction, connection, or even yourself the same way. Here's the truth he uncovered. Nietzsche argued that when you say you love a woman, you're often not loving her. You're chasing a mirage, a perfect image you've built in your head. You see her as kind, flawless, or your emotional savior, but that's not the real person. It's a projection, a fantasy you create to feel secure, inspired, or even in control. To Nietzsche, this isn't love. It's a lie you tell yourself to avoid the harder truth. Women are complex, driven by their own instincts and ambitions, just like you. This habit of idealizing women isn't admiration. It's a shortcut. You flatten her into a symbol of perfection because it's easier than grappling with her real, unpredictable nature. Nietzsche saw this as a kind of cowardice, not because women are scary, but because facing their full humanity means letting go of your illusions. You'd rather see her as a delicate ideal than as someone with her own power, her own motives, her own mysteries. And the kicker, you're not even aware you're doing it. He didn't think women were better or worse than men, just different. Not unknowable, but often misunderstood because you choose comfort over clarity. This isn't about blaming you, it's about waking you up. The real question Nietzsche poses is, can you love a woman for who she is, not who you want her to be? Because until you do, you're not in a relationship, you're in a dream. You've been told love is about devotion, about finding the one who completes you. But what if that's just a story you tell yourself to avoid the truth? Nietzsche saw through the haze of romance and pointed to something most people miss, the fear that drives your feelings. You don't just idealize women because it feels good. You do it because facing who they really are, independent, complex, powerful, scares you. It's not about love. It's about control, about keeping the world simple and safe. When you put a woman on a pedestal, you're not honoring her. You're hiding from her. Nietzsche argued that you craft this perfect image, pure, gentle, always nurturing, because it's easier than dealing with someone who doesn't need your protection or approval. You call it romance, but he called it fear. Fear of a woman who can stand on her own, who has her own desires, her own strength. And the worst part? You don't even realize you're doing it. You're so caught up in the fantasy that when the real woman shows up, flawed, ambitious, unapologetic, you feel cheated. Not because she lied, but because your illusion couldn't last. Nietzsche didn't see women as fragile or helpless. He saw them as forces of nature, wielding a kind of power you might not even notice. While men often flex their strength through loud gestures, money, status, or dominance, women, he believed, mastered something quieter, sharper. They've had to. History didn't hand them thrones or armies, so they learned to shape the world in other ways. Through insight, through charm, through understanding what makes people tick. Nietzsche saw this as a kind of genius, born from necessity. Women didn't just survive a world stacked against them, they found ways to steer it. If this content makes sense to you, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Thank you. Think about it. You've seen it happen. A woman can shift your mood with a single look, guide your choices without saying a word, or make you want to be better without asking. That's not weakness, that's strategy. Nietzsche pointed out that women have a knack for reading people, your desires, your insecurities, your pride, and using that knowledge to influence, not with force, but with precision. They don't need to shout to be heard. Their power lies in knowing exactly what moves you, and that's not something you easily resist. This isn't about manipulation or malice. It's about survival in a world that often left women with no other tools. Nietzsche didn't judge them for it. He respected it. He saw women as tacticians, not victims, quietly shaping outcomes while society called them passive. But here's the challenge he throws at you. Stop underestimating this power. Stop assuming women are just reacting to the world. They're shaping it, often in ways you don't see until it's too late. And if you want to truly connect with a woman, you need to look past the myths, both the ones that glorify her and the ones that diminish her, and see the real strength she carries. Because in love, the person with the most power is often the one you least expect. You think you know what drives love, but Nietzsche saw something deeper. It's not truth that pulls you in, it's the way things look. And when it comes to women, he believed they've turned this into a skill sharper than any blade. Not because they're shallow, but because they had to. In a world that locked them out of direct power, women learn to shape how you see them. And that control over perception? It's how they bend the world to their will. Nietzsche didn't call this deception. He called it brilliance. You might think a woman's charm or beauty is just for show, but he saw it as strategy. Their grace, their poise, the way they know exactly how to make you feel. They're not just pretty details, they're tools, honed over centuries of navigating a world that judged them by the surface. Women don't just accept this reality, they master it. They know you don't fall for who they are deep down. You fall for the image you've built in your head. And by shaping that image, they shape your choices, your feelings, your actions. This isn't about being fake. It's about understanding human nature better than you do. Nietzsche argued that women get it. People are swayed by what they want to believe, not by what's real. A woman's smile or the way she carries herself isn't just for your attention. It's a way to guide the story you tell yourself about her. And that story, it's what makes you act, what makes you chase, what makes you commit. While you're caught up in the moment, she's already 3 steps ahead, steering the outcome without you even noticing. This is what Nietzsche admired, women's ability to turn limitation into power. Society might call their focus on appearance superficial, but he saw it as insight. They know the mask matters more than the face behind it, not because they're hiding, but because the world rewards those who control the narrative. You might think you're in charge of your feelings, but are you? Or are you reacting to a carefully crafted signal, a look, a word, a vibe that she knew would hit you just right? That's not weakness. That's a kind of strength you can't touch, one that changes the game without firing a shot. And if you want to really understand love, Nietzsche's point is clear. Start seeing the power in the illusions you're chasing. You've been sold the idea that love is harmony, a perfect blend of 2 souls, but Nietzsche saw something else, a clash of instincts hiding behind sweet words. Love isn't a cozy union, it's a battleground. Men and women want each other, sure, but Nietzsche believed they're pulling in opposite directions, driven by needs that don't align. And that tension, it's what makes love feel so intense, so confusing, so alive. He argued you don't love for the same reasons she does. As a man, you're often chasing a dream, a woman who'll make you feel whole, admired, or safe. You paint her as your savior, your muse, someone to complete your story. But women, Nietzsche said, approach love with clearer eyes. They're not lost in fantasies. They're looking for strength, security, or a way to thrive in a world that's rarely kind to them. This isn't about scheming. It's about instincts, wired by biology and shaped by a society that sets different rules for her. What Nietzsche found maddening was the cover-up. You call it romance, with all its flowers and promises, but beneath that gloss there's a tug-of-war. Both of you are trying to steer the relationship to get what you need, all while pretending it's selfless. He didn't see this as evil, it's just human. But the lie that love is pure or equal, that's what traps you. Every date, every argument, every choice you make together is a quiet struggle for control, even if you don't admit it. This isn't about blaming her or you. Nietzsche's point was that love is never just love, it's power in disguise. You're both shaping each other, pushing for advantage, all under the spell of attraction. And the kicker, you suffer when you ignore this. You get hurt when you expect harmony and find conflict instead. His challenge is brutal but clear. Stop pretending love is a fairy tale. See it for what it is, a dance of desires where no one's fully in charge. Only then can you navigate it without getting burned. Because if you think love is just about feeling good, you're not ready for the fight it really is. You've been chasing love like it's a prize, but Nietzsche saw it as a mirror, one that shows you the truth if you dare to look. He wasn't out to tear down women or men. He wanted to break the lies you lean into, the ones that keep you stuck in cycles of hurt and pretense. Most relationships, he said, are a mess of illusions. You project your dreams onto her. She plays a role to keep you close, and both of you dodge the real fight, facing who you actually are. But what if you could do better? What if love could be more than a game? Nietzsche believed there's a way out, a rare path most people never take. It starts with dropping the act. You stop seeing her as your savior or your enemy. She stops hiding behind charm or expectations. Instead, you both stand raw, real, and unafraid. No masks, no tricks, just two people who know their flaws and their fire. This isn't about becoming the same. It's about meeting as equals, each with your own strength, each with your own shadows, each ready to grow without needing to control. Getting there isn't easy. You have to let go of the bitterness that creeps in when she doesn't need you to save her. She has to release the anger from years of being boxed in. Nietzsche didn't sugarcoat it. This takes guts. You're not just rejecting old habits. You're defying a world that thrives on fairy tales and power plays. But if you can do it, something new opens up. Not a perfect romance, but a connection built on truth. You don't dominate her and she doesn't steer you. You push each other to be more, not less. This kind of love isn't common. Nietzsche knew most people cling to comfort, to fantasies that feel safe. But you're not most people. If you're willing to trade easy lies for hard truths, you can build something real. A relationship where neither of you hides, where you're both free to be human, messy, and alive. It's not about winning or losing. It's about becoming together. So ask yourself, are you ready to let go of the illusions and face her as she is? Because that's where love stops being a trap and starts being a choice. If this makes any sense to you, subscribe and share with someone who may be needing this message.